Hi everybody! So of all of the emails and private messages and YouTube comments and Tumblr asks and whatnot that I receive, probably half of them ask me the exact same thing, which is basically, what is the best corset brand? What is the best corset for me to start with? What corset can I spend the least amount of money on and give me the best shape or silhouette that gives me the fastest results and whatnot, whether I'm tightlacing or waist training and etc. I am actually gonna make another video about the difference between tightlacing and waist training because they are not synonymous, but I will save that for a different video because I'll probably have a separate rant on that too. Basically, I'm here to tell you that there is no such thing as a perfect corset brand. There is no such thing as the best brand out there. There are some very popular brands out there. I think the 5 dominating off-the-rack corset brands that I see featured in social media today is basically Corsets-UK and their billions of sister sites, including Corset Deal and Corset Wholesale and Punk 69 and whatnot. There's Orchard Corset, Isabella Corsetry, Timeless Trends, and What Katie Did. So these brands, I have owned at least one of the corsets from each brand at some point. It's actually closer between 2 and 12 corsets from each of these brands. And I can recognize these corsets at a glance from any photo. Even if these brands are being sold by a distributor under a different name, I can basically tell that where it's being manufactured. But bear in mind that these are the dominating brands. I didn't say that they're the best brands. They're kind of like the Walmart and Apple and the McDonald's of the corset world, but these are definitely not the only brands out there, and they are most definitely not suitable for every body and every purpose. I think a lot of people approach corseting in an oversimplistic manner. I think that they want really fast and clear answers. They're super excited to get started, and many of them skip over an important research period. Or they figure that they would just buy a corset now and then catch up with the research later on when they actually have the corset so that they can wear the corset while researching the corset. But please remember these words because they are probably the most important thing that I'm ever going to say to you. Corseting is not for the impatient. Corseting is not for the impatient. Corseting is not for the impatient. If I were a Muppet right now, I would be flailing because this is so important. So from my observations, those who are too impatient to properly research the very basics of corseting before they actually invest in a corset, there's usually a higher chance that these same people are also impatient in their approach and their method to tightlacing, and either their body or the corset suffers the consequences. So, I mean, the corseter might experience pain or injury from pushing themselves too hard or too fast, or the corset might break prematurely because it's not used to that amount of abuse. Or, you know, the corseter, they might just fall off the wagon and lose interest in corsetry, and basically their money and their efforts have been wasted at that point. You know, they might become disillusioned or disenchanted with corsetry because the corset didn't fulfill their unrealistic duty according to the impatient corseter, when all they really needed to do was really understand what a corset can do for you and what it cannot do. And sometimes I get messages from people saying along the lines of, well, I don't have the time to watch through your entire beginner's playlist, so can you just give me the answers in this message? Well, you don't have time to watch 2 hours of video, even if you break it up over the course of a week. I mean, I've been pretty intensely researching corsetry and its related mechanisms for at least 8 years, and I mean, like most other people, I've had things like school and work and extracurricular activities. So when somebody says that they don't have the time, I mean, is their time more valuable than my time? Okay, so back to the best corset brand. I know how frustrating it can be to find a corset that fits you comfortably and shapes you nicely and, you know, is of decent strength and doesn't cost an arm and a leg. So, I mean, that's the whole reason that I started doing corset reviews, so people could learn from my past purchases and they can make more informed purchases and they would be more confident in the fit and the construction and whatnot. So, I mean, since everybody has a different body, it stands to reason that the same corset is not going to fit 2 different people the same way. So for this reason, I cannot recommend one corset that is perfect for everybody. I mean, the corsets, they're not like the magic traveling pants. And you know, I'm not totally infallible because I used to recommend the same 1 to 2 brands to everybody, no matter what their starting place and body type, because that's just what worked for me at the time. And I'm sorry that I did that actually, because what works for me may not work for you, but 3 years ago I didn't really know all that better. So even now that I'm a distributor for Timeless Trends, if somebody comes along looking to buy a corset from me, but I can see from their measurements that I know from a fact that it's not going to fit them properly, then I would rather recommend them to a different brand. Even if I don't get a commission from that, I know that they will probably go about their tight lacing in a safer way, that it will be more flattering and more comfortable for them, and they're going to be happier with their purchase. So if you are a beginner and you ask somebody, like any experienced corseter, for corset brand recommendations, and they say immediately, like as an almost knee-jerk reaction, they immediately direct you to one certain brand without even so much as looking at your body measurements or your use for the corset or where you're starting from, I would advise you to be a little bit cautious, because you don't know if these people are affiliated with a certain brand, or maybe they just haven't tried that many brands and they're just, you know, if you only try one or two brands, then it's easy to tell you which one is the best in their experience, but the experience only goes so far. And I'm not saying this to be like pretentious or say that my opinion is more valuable than anybody else's, because I mean that applies to anything that I say too. If you ask me a question and my answer doesn't sit right with you, go and find another opinion. Go and find a second or third or fourth opinion, because when it comes to corsetry, you do want to go about it in a safe manner, and it's not a small investment. I hope this helped answer the question on what is the best corset brand. The answer is DNE does not exist, for those of you who are not into math and physics. And I think that's it for tonight. So I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye.